And if you have just a big bag of pasta and two tins of tomato and a little bit grey cheese, up it is a casserole, and that's okay. I mean,
Hello, friend. Welcome to Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. I'm Ron Harris. Before our host, Tim Whitehead, tells us about someone who's living out the Great Commission, I believe you have a special request for us. Right, Tim?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, friend, for joining us again here on the Mission Compass. And thank you, Ron, for just kind of giving us a chance to just stop and pray. We are a praying ministry. In fact, friends, if you would like, visit our website, galcom.org, and a little pop-up will pop up, and you can request to join our mailing list, and you get our quarterly prayer calendar. So it's not like you're getting something in your email, in your inbox every day. It's just once a quarter, or you can get it by traditional mail, like the one I'm holding in my hand here. And the prayer request right here for this weekend is for the 425,000 Bunu people of China. They're a frontier people group with fewer than 0.1% Christian, the largest group in China without a single known church. Their linguistic diversity and remoteness have hindered gospel outreach. Hey, Producer Brent, did you know that our vision statement, our mission statement and vision statement back here at Galcom years ago used to be reaching the unreached by radio?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was what when I joined the ministry, was reaching the unreached by radio. But then we realized we weren't actually doing the reaching. We were actually working with partners who were doing the reaching. So do you know what our mission statement is now?
It's to multiply missionary impact through audio technology.
Very good. And we haven't even done this like a rehearsal with the staff in a big strategy meeting. I'm getting a little off topic. We should be talking about prayer requests. But the point is this. We want to multiply the impact of missionaries around the world using audio technology to reach the unreached. We haven't lost that element of it. And so, friends, we need your prayers right now. There's a couple of projects that are going on that we covet your prayers. So number one, we just had a team return from Peru in partnership with a ministry there, an indigenous ministry called Runasimi. Just delivered a bunch of radios, a couple hundred radios, and did some work there. Please pray for our partners at Runasimi that are doing the follow-up, that are working with pastors in very remote communities, unreached people groups up in the Quechua communities up in the Andes Mountains in Peru. So please pray for Runasimi. Number two, please pray for our partners at Voice of the Martyrs. We're having some issues getting shipments over to their workers in West Africa. I can't be any more specific than that because there's a lot of persecution there. Hence, that's where Voice of the Martyrs is working. So please just pray for Voice of the Martyrs workers, they're indigenous workers in West Africa that are receiving thousands of our solar-powered audio Bibles for their use in evangelism. So please pray for that. Another one we want to pray for is for our partners at Far East Broadcasting. We probably send more radios to Far East Broadcasting partners around the world than anybody else. And we've got a shipment of about 4,000 that we've been trying to get into Indonesia. And it's just been paperwork and red tape and blockages. So please, would you pray for our partners at FEBC Indonesia that they'll be able to get all of the right paperwork and forms done so we can get the radios shipped and they can get them through the customs department. If you're living in North America, you're very familiar with the word tariffs. Well, around the world, countries are putting in retaliatory tariffs. And it's become very confusing for us when we're trying to ship our radio. So please pray for these partners because we're all about multiplying missionary impact, multiplying other workers around the world with the tools to reach more people. So Peru, Runasimi, West Africa, Voice of the Martyrs, and over in Indonesia, Far East Broadcasting. Please pray for our partners today. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Tim. You can be updated on Galcom's daily prayer needs. Just visit our website, galcom.org. And now, Tim, what do you have for us?
Yes, so on our program, Producer Brent, you better refresh my memory. Who is our special guest today on our program?
We're talking with Andrée Jaccard.
Yeah, so friends, if you want to hear the first conversation we had with Madame Andrée Jaccard from Switzerland, you need to go back, I think, to August when we first talked about how she uses hospitality in her home as an evangelistic outreach. We talked to her again about a little bit more biblical principles and a couple more stories. Just really enjoyed the conversation with her. And then Producer Brent, every month we either have Sam Ebersol from GNA News or Bonnie Sala. Who do we got this time?
We're talking with Bonnie Sala.
Well, we better get to it right away. So here's Bonnie Sala, and we'll see if she can hang around and share some testimonies of the work that Guidelines is doing around the world. So let's get started.
If you asked Jose if he was an evangelist, he'd respond, "Who, me? No." I'm Bonnie Sala with Reset. What is an evangelist? Going back to the word's Greek roots, evangelism simply means telling others about Jesus so they can know and follow him. But the best evangelism doesn't take place on a street corner or even in a church. A wise spokesperson for the Christian faith says, most evangelism that is effective is done by people who are regularly in conversation with individuals. If you follow Jesus, you are equipped for evangelism. You're equipped when you go to a party, when you're sitting in a cafe, or when you're out for a walk with a friend. The Bible gives us this plan for sharing the hope we have in Jesus. It says, worship Christ as Lord of your life. And if someone asks about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. But is anyone asking about our hope? How do we live and speak in such a way that people can see we've got real hope for the future? Jesus was an asker of questions, and we can be too. Jose is a great friend who's trained himself to ask questions when he meets someone new. He's genuinely curious to know them, what their interests are, about their families. He asks them questions until they sense that he is genuinely different. And then they ask about that difference. And when they ask, he simply shares his personal experience of how Jesus has changed his life. You and I can do that too. I'm Bonnie Sala. Ready to grow your faith? Discover practical tools and more at guidelines.org.
Thank you, Bonnie. Always appreciate the input, the encouragement that you bring to our Mission Compass program through the Reset devotional. But you're doing this all over the world. And do you have some time to share some testimonies, some feedback that you're getting from people that are hearing the different programs you produce, the guidelines, the encouraging words, the Reset?
I would love to do that, Tim.
All right. So where are you hearing from people today?
All over the world. Let's start in the country of Algeria.
Wow.
So as you know, this is a
Muslim country. Yeah.
Yes, very Muslim country. And we broadcast with a ministry that is online. So this is social media, right? Because you can't actually have terrestrial radio there. This is from a woman named Kahina. And so she does live in a country where it's against the law to leave the state religion of Islam. But Kahina had an intense dream that stirred questions in her heart. She said, "My dream was of Jesus Christ. His face was shining with a powerful light." Kahina had heard some things about Jesus from a relative, but admitted that fear of her husband's reaction and of society made her keep it inside. But a social media page sharing Christian messages, one of which is our Guidelines devotional, in her language, in Arabic, gave Kahina the chance to share her dream with Noor. Noor was a counselor with the online ministry. In a private message, after each chat, Noor asked her to delete the messages to stay safe. As Noor answered Kahina's questions about Jesus, her words went straight to Kahina's heart. Kahina writes, "I felt a deep longing for God, so I prayed, 'My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I thank you because you chose me and loved me even before I was born. My heart longs to know you. I repent with all my heart for all the past, and I give you my heart. Cleanse it and heal it. I believe that you did the impossible for me. You were crucified, died, and rose again so that I may have life and have it more abundantly." What an expression of the gospel,
Yeah.
right? "I give you all the days of my life and trust in your protection and care for me because you are my faithful Father." And after she prayed, Kahina said, or she described the peace she felt. She said, "It was as if something deep inside me had awakened."
Wow. To articulate so clearly the gospel,
Isn't that
hearing
amazing?
yeah. And so this is why I think your ministry is so important as well. She's going to have practical, biblically sound advice daily because Guidelines is there in her language that she can access through social media. So God bless you for doing the work you're doing.
Well, Tim, we're just thankful to be doing it with so many other partners, one of which is Galcom.
Yeah. Do you hear from other people in close countries like this that would have a similar testimony?
We do. I have many stories today from Afghanistan. Let me share one of those.
There's a
And
closed country.
yes, and this would be over shortwave radio. So this woman says, "My name is Shumaila. I'm a housewife living in a village in Afghanistan. I feel truly blessed to hear the message of God through the Dari." So this is the Dari language guidelines radio program. Every time I listen, I experience a deep sense of peace and comfort. The words of truth and hope strengthen my heart and bring me closer to God. May God bless all those who are faithfully sharing his word and bringing light to many lives.
Wow. So shortwave, just friends, if you're just wondering, what would Bonnie just mentioned shortwave. Shortwave is a technology, very old technology, where you can broadcast from
Yes,
like one country and go like halfway around the world if you have the right amount of power. And you can't stop these signals. You can't put up a wall. You can't stop them at the border. They can stop a missionary. This is the power of radio, and this is why we use it at Galcom, and Guidelines is using it. We can get into these areas where missionaries can't go, and then the message of the gospel. You said that it's the gospel of peace, transforming
right.
lives. You said you have a couple from Afghanistan.
I do. Another, again, this is from a woman. We frequently do hear from women because they are oppressed, they are abused, they are listening in secret. Her name is Sitara, and she said, "I've always been known as the quiet and obedient daughter in my family. After the war destroyed our home, I struggled to help rebuild our lives. Fear ruled my heart, and I constantly worried about the future. One evening, while listening to the Dari Guidelines programs, the teachings about God's love and protection gave me courage. I no longer felt alone in my struggles. When I learned about how Jesus said, 'Do not fear, for I am with you,' I hung onto that promise during every challenge. I now trust God to guide me through life's difficulties and help others find hope as well."
You guys are doing incredible teaching. If your listeners are able to articulate so clearly the message of the gospel coming back, do not fear, the gospel of peace. Wonderful stuff. Friends, if you want that peace, if you want to be clinging on to Jesus in moments of fear, we'd love to send you Bonnie's Reset Devotion. We have a little copy here. It's 20-day devotional. Write to us at galcom.org. We'll send that out to you. Or for more resources, Bonnie, guidelines.org. What can people find there?
So you can find all three of our devotional programs in English. One day we're going to have all 32 of our languages available, but right now in English, we have Bible studies, we have just resources to help you grow in your faith and to encourage you.
So, friends, visit guidelines.org today. Get your faith built up, just like these people listening to the Guidelines and Reset devotionals in Afghanistan and Algeria. Bonnie, great to partner with you. God bless you.
You too. Thanks, Tim.
Well, friend, a month or so ago, we had a wonderful visit from a new friend of mine that I met over in Switzerland when one of my colleagues here at Galcom and myself were doing some missions work, visiting some mission agencies and attending a conference. And he invited me to the home of some very close friends of his, Samuel and Andrée Jaccard. And in the course of our evening, our meal together and just chatting, she revealed that she had written a book called Hospitality. And if you remember, about a month and a half ago, we introduced you to Andrée, and she shared some stories of the impact. But I wanted to revisit this and actually get into some of the details because the book is kind of hard to find. You can't find it on Amazon. You can find it on a website called Believer's Bookshelf. But I wanted to introduce some of these principles to everyone. So, Andrée, thank you so much for agreeing to join us again here on the Mission Compass to share more about what God has taught you about hospitality.
Yes, with pleasure.
Now, first of all, we need to point out, like I'm always on the Mission Compass quoting the Great Commission, go into all the world, be a witness. But there are commands in God's word about hospitality. You base your book on these principles. So what are those biblical commands for us for hospitality?
First, we should show hospitality in the family. So I believe that if we want our children to understand, like the father, the meaning of family, home, father, shelter, freedom, and etc. It's in a family that the children will understand those words. So I put a lot of emphasis
Yep.
on on the family. How do we receive our children at home when they come from school? What do we do with them? And do they feel that when they come home, we are for them, totally for them? And I had read in an American book that every family or every children deserve to smell the odor of a muffin or baked bread when they come home.
Oh.
I think that's lovely. That is a lovely thought. And I don't know if I am answering your question now.
Mm-hmm.
And but of course, um, with all the different way of seeing hospitality, it might be hard to choose and to maybe we are not ready, And I have read a little phrase in English from America. It's a Christian lady who had written a little word, and she put it over a sink in the kitchen. And every time she had a lot to do because people were coming or whatever, or she was a little distressed because she had too many tasks, she read, "Help me to remember, Lord, that nothing will happen today that you and I can't handle together."
Amen.
And I think that's a focus, a main point, is to remember that if it is a stressful situation or whatever, stop and think, God, the Lord is going to help you. And I have had a funny experience in that way. A weekend, it's years ago now, I'm 83, so I can't do all those things as before. But years ago, we were receiving a whole family with 3 grown-up children, and our children were grown up too. So, and I knew the house would be full for the whole weekend. And I started to think, at that time I had already that bookstore, but I would take some days to prepare or whatever I would arrange with my friend. And I had to clean the house. I'm not saying that we should clean when we have guests, but this time it was a bit special. And so I took my vacuum cleaner out and I was starting to clean, and somebody rang at the door. And I opened the door, and here come a neighbor with her daughter. The daughter was about 22 or 23, and she said to me, she was not a Christian, of course, and she said to me, I don't know where to go, so I come to you because my daughter wanted to kill herself.
Oh my.
Oh, I said, well, come in, I will make some tea and we can discuss. So I left my vacuum cleaner, I left all my brooms and everything, and we went in the sitting room just to talk. And there was so much to talk that it was at 6 o'clock in the evening when all our guests were coming 1 hour after. We were still in the living room, and then the girl left after we prayed together. And I said to the Lord, Seigneur, tu dois m'aider maintenant. Lord, you have to help me now because I won't be alone. I want, I had to make fresh beds and everything in 1 hour. But can you imagine that I have managed? When our friends came, everything was okay and everything was done. So the Lord really helped, He helps.
He does. He promises that. I quote Acts 1:8 all the time. When the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you will receive power. He does help us, and he helps us with these practical things, physical things, as well as others. When you mention about hospitality starting with the family, I remember something my wife said to me very early in our marriage. I'd come home and I was grumpy from work, and she says, I wish that you would treat me like you treat your employees. And I thought, oh, that hurts. You know, the kindness, the hospitality to our family, to treat them as special with the same honor. So, but you have some Bible verses. Could you share those with us about hospitality?
There is a nice verse here. When you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, although they cannot repay you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in Luke 14. But I have to be honest. I thought of our conversation those days, and I thought I should really be honest, and because I might complex some people. I am absolutely not perfect. And you know, the Lord never sent me or sent to us in our home people who were filthy and stinking and whatever, because I am not the person for that. And I do strongly believe that the Lord knows us so well that he knows exactly what we can cope with.
In your book, you set up kind of a biblical defense. You know, there's commands for hospitality. Can you walk us through a couple of those verses that really show us God's command to be a witness using hospitality?
Yeah, it's a mission field, isn't it? I will read you the wood beginning of the chapter because it's, you know, do not forget hospitality. It's an order. I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. I tell you the truth. Whatever you did not to do for one of those least of these, you did not do for me. So that's that's in Matthew 25. It's a nice verse to realize that whatever we do for our neighbor, for people we meet, or people who are in need we see on the road and need some money or whatever, we do it for the Lord. It is so beautiful to think, okay, I have I did my mission today, you know, and because we are missionary and we don't need to go to Africa, so it's a very encouraging verse, Matthew 25.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in practice hospitality, it's an order. In Romans 12, verse 13. And offer hospitality to one another without grumbling, in 1 Peter 4, verse 9. I think it's very funny because sometimes you think, oh, wow, I don't want, and I don't like those people. They are annoying and whatever. You have all kind of thoughts that are coming into mind. But so I very often think of the without grumbling,
Mm-hmm.
with joy, not with grumbling. And in Hebrew 13 again, but there are other verses too. Be not forgetful of hospitality. I think it's and you know, for elders, for instance, if some Christian men are going to be elders in the church, they have to be prone to hospitality. And sometimes it's you don't see that a lot. Sometimes the women are not very hospitable. And then what is then the ministry of the husband if they don't practice hospitality? I believe that it is quite serious.
It is.
Really.
That's right in the list. You know, it's they able to pray, able to teach the word, given to hospitality. That's right in the list of
Yeah.
qualifications for elders and deacons. You're right.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
There was another verse in First Peter that you had shared earlier.
It is offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. That's First Peter 4 verse 9.
And then there was one in Hebrews as well.
Yes, be not forgetful of hospitality.
So very clear commands from God to open
Yes,
our homes to be hospitable.
yes, and I don't understand why it is now more seldomly practiced, because there are so many verses in the Bible or example where you see that it is the command of the Lord. It's not, as I told you, it's not because you are good to do that or whatever, you have gifts or whatever. Well, God use our gifts, but it's just a command. But of course, I can understand that some woman with whom I would speak say, "But I have no money, or I have no room. I am not good enough, etc." And then there are as well women who have not a very hospitable husband, or maybe not a Christian one, you know. So there are all different tasks. And in my book, I have tried to give some tips what to do in all those occasions, because no money, for instance, for me, it's not an excuse, because everybody has a little bit of money in our Western countries. But the problem is that we don't need to make huge stakes, because guests are coming, and if you have just a big bag of pasta and two tins of tomato and a little bit great cheese, up it is a casserole, and that's okay. I mean,
But you shared when you had that surprise visit from a neighbor, a cup of tea. It's not about, as you said, it's not about the money or the condition of your house or the meal that you're preparing. It's the condition
yeah,
of our heart. And I think if
yes,
we understand that it is a command from God, very serious,
yes,
to be hospitable, and then we
yes,
let, as you said earlier, whatever we face in the day, God can help us through it. And if we rely
yes,
on His power, then we can show His love to our neighbors and friends, just having them in our home, listening to their story, sharing what God has done in our lives. Friends, if you can find it, go to Believer's Bookshelf. You just Google Believer's Bookshelf. You can find the book. It's simply called Hospitality by Andrée Jaccard. And go back in our archives here on our website. Go to galcom.org. Go back to the August interview. Here's some of the stories of how God used Andrée, her husband Sam, to lead people to faith just because they were obeying God's command to be hospitable. Andrée, I really appreciate having another visit with you, kind of going through some of the biblical basis of hospitality, going through, as you just went through, kind of a list of excuses why we don't. In God's power, we can be hospitable. Thank you so much again for joining us
yes.
here on the Mission
Well,
Compass.
thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Maybe we'll have to have you in our home sometime.
Oh, that would be great.
Thank you, Andrée. God bless you.
Yeah, merci. Bye bye.
Well, friend, we're at the end of our program today. You've been listening to Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. We really appreciate you joining us and would like to send you a special gift. Contact us to receive your free copy of Reset with Bonnie Sala, a 20-day devotional. Visit galcom.org and click on Mission Compass. Fill in your contact info and we'll mail a gift out to you right away. If you enjoyed today's program, you can listen again at galcom.org or on your favorite streaming platform. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and to share. There are many ways to partner with us, and to find out more, visit our website at galcom.org. That's Galcom spelled GALCOM.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'm Ron Harris. Thanks for joining us today on Mission Compass, a radio ministry of Galcom International.